Hello everyone. Today I have a bunch of palettes that I want to go through. There are some that I probably will get rid of, but this is also a bit of a shop my own stash situation because I know that there are a lot of palettes in my collection that have just been collecting dust and maybe I've just forgotten about them. I haven't bought a palette in a long time. I really want to try and actually use up the products that I have, and maybe going through these and shopping my stash will actually get me excited and remind me of what I have. So most of what I will be doing today is a lot of swatching. If I do come across something that I find maybe doesn't perform very well and that I don't think I would gravitate towards, I'll perhaps gift it. I also want to mention that a lot of these palettes that I have are gifts. They were given to me. In fact, a majority of them were gifts. There are going to be some palettes that from influencers specifically that I would never buy, definitely not now, and you'll see what I mean when I get to them, but I still want to use them because I feel like it's just a bit of a waste for me to throw them away. I'd rather just use them up the best I can instead of just adding to waste. Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a preview of what I have. I mean, here you go. It's just, I've got around, I think, 50 palettes, so I'll start with these ones just because I actually like these first couple quite a bit and I use them often. This is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. This one's really beautiful. You've got some really nice, warm browns. You've got lots of mauve-y blush tones in here. I do love using this a la mode. I use this quite often as a crease color, but I have been gravitating towards a lot of these. Look at this. Beautiful, right? Love that. I have been gravitating more towards these metallic shades. I find that they are very flattering on the eye, and moving away from glitter a little bit, especially as I get a bit older. I find that these metallics really are much more forgiving on aging skin. Yeah, I love these. These are really, really great. Yeah, here's this nude that I often use. Look at that, you guys. Yeah, I love this palette. This is really good. It's one of my favorites, or at least it's one that I go to often. So this is an easy keep for me. Definitely going to be keeping this one. Definitely. And it also, I thought it might have a smell. Some of the palettes that Too Faced does, they have a bit of a smell. No, not like a bad smell, like scented. I think I have the Too Faced chocolate bonbon palette, and which I'll show you next because that's another one that I've been using quite a bit of. So definitely keeping this one. Okay, so the next one I have is this Too Faced palette. So this is the chocolate bonbon palette. And this is one that is scented. I've got a bit of packaging here to protect the mirror. So yeah, this one, there is a bit of a chocolate scent, which is very fun. So this one I use a little bit. I do really like this pecan praline color. It's a very gray. I use this in the crease, just like an everyday gray tone. This Cafe au Lait shade, this is another one I've been using quite a bit. Again, the metallic, which has been really my vibe recently. Just using a lot more metallics and, shying away from a lot of glittery tones. So there's a pink. It's a little bit patchy. But yeah, so I mainly use this for those shades. I'm definitely not as adventurous as I used to be with my color selection. I'm kind of more of a just slap it on and go. I want to swatch this one because I actually haven't used this. Oh, that's gorgeous. Why haven't I not used that more? That's a real shame. I should be using that, hey? I'll swatch this one as well. This is Black Currant. Okay. So you got more of like a dark orchid. It is a little bit metallic as well. Very faintly metallic. I'm not sure. See, these darker metallic shades, I find that I don't tend to use often. I mean, I would use them if I was going for a really intense smoky eye and I wanted to slap like a dark metallic shade all over the lid. That's not something I'm doing a lot of these days. But yeah, I do like this one. Definitely going to keep. So this will be going in the keep pile and I'll continue using it. Okay, the next one we have is a Lime Crime palette. This is the Venix XL2. This one I really want to be using more often, and you'll see why. A lot of metallics in here, which is, like I said, right up my alley right now. And look at this one. This is just... Oh, it's actually, the payoff is not that good. Let me just really try. Yeah, that one's okay. Not super impressed by that one. I do use this white shade quite a bit, this metallic white. But you've got this really pretty, this is Ivy here. Oh, look at that. Oh, I really like that one. Yeah, I should be using this more often for sure. Let's swatch one of the matte shades. Let's keep in the green theme. This one's called Sage. Okay, she's all right. She's all right. Maybe these are really great for kind of just slapping something on there. I have to swatch this one, you guys. Oh, that's definitely more glittery. This one is Myth. I don't know. This one is really pretty, but this one's definitely more glittery, not as metallic. I'm gonna keep this one and maybe keep it on my top shelf section so that I don't forget that it exists. I'll place that back. Okay, so the next one I have is this Beauty Creations Sugar Sweets. This one is, I think this brand does a lot of dupe palettes. So this is a lot of warm browns, quite a few metallic shades again. Yeah, just a very pretty natural color story here. So we've got some that I'm actually curious about, this brown shade. So this is Jawbreaker. Oh, that actually swatched really beautifully. I love that. That's really pretty. Wow. I definitely need to be using this more often, you guys. Okay, I'm going to swatch some of the lighter metallic shades. My goodness. Oh my gosh, look at that. These are beautiful. See, and this is why I'm really glad I'm doing this, because I just kind of forget what I have. Let's do one of these matte shades. Let's do Ring Pop here. This one's calling to me. Okay, not the best, a little bit patchy, but I think that's okay. I really like this color story. I think I don't gravitate towards palettes that are very warm. I tend to find that the cooler color stories are better suited for my skin tone. So that's probably why this one hasn't gotten a lot of usage from me. So I'm going to keep this one for sure. And here, maybe I'll try this. Yeah, see, that's a little bit too warm, I think, for me to use day to day, but I will keep this one. I mean, there's some beautiful metallic shades in there. I wouldn't want to get rid of it. So she lives to see another day. Okay, so this one I'm very excited about because I remember when I first received this, I was very excited. This is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette. So this is a lot of metallic shades if I remember. Oh my gosh, look at this one. I remember being so excited about this one. Let me just focus in. There we go. So you've got a really pretty highlighter shade in the middle, and you've got all these matte shades, and on the very outer bit, you've got metallic, but a lot of them have some glitter in them, which maybe is why I don't tend to gravitate towards them super often. These purples are speaking to me. Oh my goodness. And if you guys are familiar with BH Cosmetics, you know that they are very cheap. Look at that purple. That's actually very impressive. I find that purples are a bit difficult to get right. I'm going to swatch this lighter purple here. Very pretty. Oh, that one's not quite, it's a little bit patchy, but still pretty good for a purple. I love this. I really want to swatch this shade in the middle. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a little bit chalky, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, it's a bit chalky. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's not the smoothest application. It's a little chalky, I think, and powdery. But I will try it, I think. This one's got, it's got reflects of maybe some green and gold. Very pretty. I want to swatch another one here. The Sagittarius. This is a green metal. Oh, I do like that one. Very pretty. Again, hard to imagine me wearing these. Maybe let's try one that's a bit more natural. Well, natural I guess is subjective, but this is one that I could definitely see myself wearing. This is Virgo here. This is definitely one I can see myself wearing on a daily basis. So more of these toned down, almost like bridal-esque shades. I'll try one more here. Let's do Aquarius. That's like a greeny gold. Oh my gosh, look at that. These are absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. That's got like a gold reflect, green reflect. There are little bits of glitter. A bit more glitter than some of the other ones I've swatched. But these are gorgeous. This is definitely getting me excited to try these on a day-to-day basis. Really loving these shades. And I feel like when I first received this, I wasn't super into metallics. But I think now I would get a lot more use out of it. So love this one. Super excited to revisit that. So this is Robbie D. Christie's Colourpop collaboration at Forest Sight, and honestly I didn't use the colors as much as I thought I would. I really gravitated towards, I have used Puffball a bit, and West Coast, this gold shade, which I do love this gold shade. Beautiful. My hand is getting a bit destroyed. Oh my goodness, yeah, I just love that. Love that gold. And here we'll swatch this brown here. Yeah. A little bit patchy. I mean, I applied it very heavily, but they're pretty good. I mean, they've got a lot of pigmentation. I don't think I've ever been disappointed in a Colourpop product that I've purchased. I mean, I use their concealers regularly, and I have been for years. I love their lip glosses as well, and their eyeshadows are pretty good. Here, I'll swatch this more nude shade here. Oh, I've got a bit of brown on my finger. Let's fix that. But let's swatch this Old Growth here. It's kind of hard to see. That is very flesh toned for me. Yeah, that's very flesh toned for me. But I like it. This is a very good palette with lots of different uses. I think you could definitely use this during the day, at night, going out. You could pull out a lot of looks with this one. So I don't know why I haven't gravitated towards it. Sometimes I just need to remind myself that these are here. So I'll keep this one on my top shelf. Okay, the next one I have is the Morphe 35C palette. So this one has really not been used much at all, which is interesting because there are actually a lot of cool tone. I mean, I think the C is for cool, so 35 cool shades. So this should be right up my alley, but I think this one was a gift as well. So I think when I received this, I was not really wearing a lot of makeup. so it hasn't gotten a lot of attention since I got it. So let's swatch a few of these colors. I'm very interested to see how some of them swatch. So I'll start with maybe this one here. This one is, oh, I hate when they do this, when they put the names on the flimsy little plastic. This is Oh La La. So this is a like a blush metallic shade. There is some glitter in there, but it's a little bit chunky. I don't know if I love that one. I feel like this one wouldn't last very long. And it's a little bit too chunky, glittery, I think, for me. I want to see the hope, guys. I don't want to not like things that are in my collection because I want to get the most out of what I already have. Let's try this nude shade up here. I think this is Be My Guest. So this is a very faintly metallic. This one's very interesting. It's not super metallic, just very faintly so. This is a very nude. This one's interesting. I don't know if I would gravitate towards this. Maybe for a very natural, you know, swipe over the lid shade. If you don't want to go too metallic, 'cause this one isn't too metallic. But you probably could use it as a great lid shade if you wanted to do your classic smoky eye. All right, let's try swatching another one. I'm going to swatch On My Way. This one is a pale gold. That one is not too bad. Okay, this one I could definitely see myself wearing. Now, obviously, these will look very different on my fingers and on my hand than they would on my eyelid, but this is kind of the best I can do, so take it with a grain of salt. But you know, this gives me hope that I can actually get some use out of these. Let's do this pink shade for Barbie. Oh wow, that is very metallic. Oh yeah, she's metallic. This one's really pretty. I just don't know when I would wear it. It's very metallic, very eye-catching. But I think this could have some use for me in my collection. So we will put her to the side. We'll keep her. And maybe we'll try that pink shade. I just don't know how I could. Here, I will swatch this one. There's a chunky glitter in here. This one, it scares me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like a foily glitter. Look at that. So pretty. I could see myself wearing this to maybe a festival or something. Wow. That is just straight up foil, you guys. That's crazy. The next one I have is not a eyeshadow palette. It's actually a highlighter palette. So this one is from Chichi. This is an Australian brand. Very inexpensive. So I have a few things from Chichi. And I really like this highlighter palette. Now, this one has gotten quite a bit of use, and I bought this one, a few years ago now, I think, and I'm very much loving these colors even still. So I'll swatch some of these really quickly, but one that I use a lot is Tamarama. So this one is a very slightly blush with like a peach reflect. Really like that one. And another really fun one is this Great Keppel. So this one's like a green. Look at that. I mean, these could even be used as eyeshadows for sure. Sorrento is another really nice one. Really like that one. That one's very pretty. Yeah, these are great. I've used this one quite a bit. I think the only downside is that the size is just not great to be on my desk. It's just a little bit too big. Obviously hard to travel with something this size just for a highlighter. And I don't do any you know, depanning or depotting or anything like that. So yeah, it doesn't get as much love as it used to, but I think I definitely want to revisit this one. Like Palm Cove, this is a really pretty one. Yeah, I really like this. This is a gorgeous highlighter palette and deserves more love. This is, I think, my favorite product from Chichi that I've ever owned. I love this one. And sticking with highlighters, let's just keep on the highlighter train. I've got the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This one I think I bought, this was like on a sale item or something. It's seen better days, as you can tell. It's definitely seen better days. I don't think I've used this much because it's just a bit, here, I'll swatch one. I mean, some of these colors I can't use with my skin tone as a highlighter. Spectra and Orion, for example, I definitely can't pull those off as a highlighter. Perhaps as an eyeshadow. Very beautiful, look at that. Purple with like this pinky reflect. Really like that. Just on its own, it's a beautiful color. Yeah, here is, let me see, so dirty, it's hard to see. Helia. I mean, I just don't see myself using this as a highlighter. Most of these, and the shades that I would use, have just completely been annihilated. I have a feeling this might be why it was on clearance when I bought it. But here is Lyra. Very golden. Yeah, I really like that one, but yeah, it hasn't gotten much love. I need to repair this one. I do want to salvage it. Needs a bit of a cleanup. This one has been completely lost. I think it must have spilled out into one of my makeup drawers and just never to be seen again, sadly. This one is Eclipse. A little bit chalky, I will say. That could be another reason why I haven't reached for it. Yeah, this one needs a cleaning, so I'm not going to put it with all of the other palettes. I'm going to put that one to the side and do some surgery on that one. I have a little quad from Tom Ford. Let me open this one up. If I remember correctly, this was just not impressive as an eyeshadow quad. The colors just aren't really great payoff wise, and it was really hard to get pigmentation on these ones. On the finger they look great, but I just remember using these on the eye and I just was not impressed. And these colors are really not something I think I would use regularly. You've got this metallic shade, which is just so hard to swatch. I think it needs a little bit of a wipe. But yeah, I think this metallic one, or this glitter, it's more of a glitter, honestly. It's a chunky glitter. I think this would be better used as almost like a wash over the lid. So let's see, I'll swatch this shade here. I don't know, I'm not impressed with the payoff of these. That one actually looks pretty good. I don't know, I think maybe this just doesn't suit my skin tone. I think another problem is that all of these shades are metallic. So as a quad, for me, it's not really that useful. I need some matte shades in my quads. So this one just doesn't really appeal to me very often. I don't know what I'll do with this one. I might try and use this glitter shade. Yeah, I'm unsure if I will keep this or maybe I will give it away as a gift. For those of you wondering, this is, let's see, 26 Leopard Sun. So it's, yeah, the Tom Ford Eye Color Quad 26 Leopard Sun is the color. Maybe I'll give it away as a gift to someone who maybe could pull off these shades a bit better than I could. Okay, moving right along. The next one I have is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry Palette. Now I swear I used to own, I don't know what I did with them, but I swear I used to own some of the other Naked palettes. Maybe I didn't bring them with me when I moved to Australia 7 years ago, but I'll show this one to you. This one was a gift. Yeah, this is another one that I don't really gravitate towards just because the colors are not really my style necessarily. So I'll swatch some of them here. You know, these shades here, these lighter shades definitely could be used every day for me, like in the crease. I mean, even maybe this one here. This one's called Feels. Yeah, there's nothing necessarily wrong with the quality of these shades. I'll swatch another one. Let's do Ambitious. Ooh, that one is really pretty. Wow. Look at that. I just don't see myself wearing a shade like this. I'll do one more here. I'm swatching a lot of metallic shades. I'm a bit obsessed with them at the moment, that texture. Really like this one to turn on. That one I could see myself wearing more, just because it's a bit lighter. I'll swatch one more. I'll swatch this one here, Juicy. It looks very pale, doesn't it? Yeah, that one's not too bad. I should give this one another chance, I think. Some of the lighter shades I think I would use, but some of the brighter metallic ones I think scare me a little bit, I won't lie. But I think I'm ready to dive more into exploration of my makeup style and technique. So I think I'm going to keep this one on my top shelf, and just so that, you know, I'm reminded of its existence. I love that the Naked palettes always come with a little brush. I think that's so cute. So the next one I have is from a brand called Bad Habit. I think this is another brand that does a lot of dupes. So this is meant to be a dupe of Natasha Denona Lila. Let's have a look at this one. So these are beautiful, and I think I definitely gravitate towards this purple shade. This is Andromeda. Oh, I'm just dying. You know what? It's kind of patchy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That one is very patchy, actually. Natasha Denona would never. Let's try another one. Let's try Cosmos. That one is much better. That's a very pretty gold. Very soft. And I'll try one more. See, this one is actually really great for me because there are a lot of neutral shades in here, or like natural shades that are a bit cooler, which is perfect for me. I think I should be playing with this one a little bit more. So for example, Zenith here. These are so soft, you guys. These matte shades are like butter. Very buttery shades. This one here is Lunar. This is another one that needs a bit of a cleanup. Doesn't swatch that great, but it blends out really nicely. So maybe there's hope for this one. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold that against it. I think I'm gonna keep this one on my top shelf as well. Some of these shades are a little disappointing, like this Andromeda I just swatched. Not the greatest. Maybe I'll swatch one more. Let's do Red Giant. This is like a very deep violet. Yeah, just see, not really a shade that I think I would gravitate towards. These ones are really staining. My hand looks a bit beat up now. My goodness, look at the difference. Well, my hands just kind of look beat up in general. Yeah, I'll keep this one on my top shelf. Next one is another Colourpop palette. This one's called Flutterbye. This is, if I remember, a more purpley, cool toned purple palette. I really like this one, and it's definitely been used quite a bit, especially these metallic shades and this glitter shade here. So I just want to swatch some of these. I mean, I've used this a few times, but I just want to remind myself. So let's do this one. Ooh, this one feels kind of rough. Let's just try and get past this top layer. Ooh, okay. It's not swatching the best. That one's a bit better. This one's made to last here. That one swatches a bit better. Let's try this one here called Getaway. That one is very, very buttery. Nice metallic. It's not quite silver. It's like a bit of an in-between. It's like a very pale, warm silver. And I know I would be curious, so I will swatch this glitter shade here. This one is called Overpacked. And my goodness, look at that. I will swatch this one. Very chunky glitter. Very fun. I think another one that I could see myself wearing at a festival. Don't think I could get away with it day to day, just personally. I think this could be a really great festival palette, but a little disappointed in some of these matte shades. So a little conflicted on this one, but we'll put her back. So we can just do another Colourpop palette. This is the Disney Villains Misunderstood. So this one, if I remember, is very vibrant. A lot of metallic slash, some of them are a bit more glittery shades. I love the packaging of this, by the way. Absolutely love this. It's so cool looking. And the shades are really awesome. Very curious about this blue. This was gifted from someone who had used it before. So this is the Fates that I've just swatched here. A very nice, dark, deep, matte blue. A little bit patchy, but you know what? It's actually not that bad. Blues and purples, I feel like, are just so hard to get right sometimes. She's definitely a stainer. Let's get the icicle to help us out here. All right, much better. So not sure about the blue one. This could be one that I use as a eyeliner. I love to use dark powder shades as eyeliner. I go in with a pencil or a gel eyeliner and then pack on some powder on top of it to kind of make it more matte, less shiny, diffuse it a bit. I love doing that. That's been something I've been doing for the past couple of years now, and I really like how it looks. I feel like it looks a lot more seamless and natural. I'm very curious about this purple shade too here. This is called Forest of Thorns. Quality is not the best again. I really had to rub it hard. This is another one that's going to stain for sure. And maybe let's swatch this dark shade here. This is actually a very glittery metallic black. So this one's called Revenge. I really am curious about this shade here. Whoa. This is definitely something I would have worn in maybe the 2000s during the scene days with those glitter bits in the black. Definitely would have used this on a really smudgy black smoky eye. Oh my goodness. I might have to use this. This is so cool. I really like this one. There's little flecks of blue and silver in here. I think that just looks so awesome. I'm gonna have to find a way to use this because that is just so cool. I'll swatch some of the matte shades. Here, let's swatch Devious. This is a very terracotta, warm terracotta shade. Okay, that's a really great one. That's a really good one. Great quality, buttery. Yeah, these are quite buttery, these mattes. Wow, pleasantly surprised with this. I'm a bit sad I haven't used it more, aside from that blue shade, which is a bit sad, but that's okay. I think this is really great. I definitely should be reaching for this one more. Next, we've got a Revolution palette. I think this is the only Revolution palette that I own. I have been tempted by many of them at Priceline. So this one looks very interesting. It almost looks like kind of a highlighter consistency, which I might use that as a highlighter actually. A lot of cool toned shades in this one, which is great for me because I love using those. Let's see, I'll swatch some of these matte shades. We've got Reveal. Okay. Not super pigmented, but they are soft and they kind of blend out to nothing, to be honest. I mean, they blend out well. They are very soft, not super pigmented, but you know what? That's, in my mind, less pigmented doesn't always mean not as good. If you're going for a look that is just very subtle and natural, you might not want something that's super pigmented. Let's try this one here. This one's Moody. This is like a dark gray. Ooh, that is very, very gray. Very cool toned, right up my alley. Yeah, again, not super pigmented, but like I said, doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have its place in a collection. I will just try swatching one of these up at the top. So maybe let's try Love Note here. It's like a dark gold. Oh, these are just, oh my goodness. These are just straight up metallic. Okay. It's interesting because they kind of look like a glitter. These are very soft. Okay. I really love this shade. It's very yellowy gold. Very deep yellow gold. Yeah, I can see why I haven't reached for this one. Not super pigmented, but like I said, I think I need to give it a chance. So I'll put this one back in my collection, but maybe I need to trial this one a couple of times to see if I actually want to keep it. Next palette I have is actually a face palette. And I already know that I'm going to keep this because it has been very heavily used. Yeah, Cover FX, love this brand. Wish I could own more from them, but they're very expensive. Yeah, I really like this contour shade. I've used this blush a little bit, and this highlighter shade as well. It's very soft, but it's just a bit too white for me, I think, to use as a highlighter, but definitely could be used in the inner eye. I mean, once you blend it out. Okay, maybe I need to give this another chance. This is what it's all about, you guys. It's just rediscovering what's in your collection. If you're just an everyday person, you're not an influencer, you don't get a bunch of PR, you are just like your everyday consumer like I am, I think before you throw everything away, I think it's a really good idea to go through everything you have, do some swatches here and there, and really just shop your collection, because you might be surprised with some of the items you already have. And, I've even been tempted sometimes, although I don't buy beauty products nearly as much as I used to, but I have been tempted sometimes to buy some new products, which I already own many of, and I think shopping your collection and just reminding yourself of what you have is a really great idea. So highly recommend anyone who is a consumer like me who definitely overbought, palettes and what have you. This is a really great idea. So I'm gonna swatch this highlighter shade here. I think this is just a bit too dark for me. I don't think I would use this. Not for me, maybe as an eyeshadow, but again, it's just not, I don't think it's pigmented enough to use as an eyeshadow. But obviously we'll be keeping this one because of the contour, and we'll continue to use this one until it is completely gone. So the next item I have is another Chichi product. So this is the Paparazzi Princess. This one was very cheap, which is probably the main pull of its purchase for me. But unfortunately, I did use this a few times, and I just remember the shadows not lasting very long at all. I mean, they swatch okay, but the payoff and the lasting power on these was just not good at all. I remember I would do, a makeup look with using this palette, and I swear in like an hour, all of it had creased. It was just completely disappeared off my eye. Wasn't super impressed with this. I might try and reuse it again and just really be using all of my techniques in my arsenal, priming properly and all of that to get these to last, because I mean, there's a lot of great shades in here and I really like it. Yeah, like I said, the lasting power just hasn't been great. It's also got a matte black in here, which I wouldn't use as much nowadays. I tend to lean more towards dark browns when I'm deepening up an eye look or using a shadow as eyeliner. I tend to use very dark browns, and I kind of steer away from blacks. But if I'm playing around and want to do a fun look, I think maybe I should revisit these and see if I can really get some good wear out of them. Okay, sorry, my camera stopped recording. So this is another one. Can you guys tell that I love Colourpop? They are one of my favorite brands. So this is another eyeshadow palette from Colourpop. This one's called California Love. This is a warm color story. You've got some warm browns in here. You've got a yellow, golds. Unfortunately, not really my colors that suit my skin tone very well. But I do love some of these metallic shades. So for example, I mean, this one here is just screaming my name. This is one of the glitter shades in here. This one is just so cool, you guys. Oh, so stinking pretty. I also want to try, let's try this very orange shade. Actually not super impressed with the payoff of these. Let's try this one here. This is called the Bay. This one's a bit better. That one's a lot more buttery. It's kind of doing something weird with the color though on my hand. It might be because I've just wiped my hand with Icicle. So it's catching some of that moisture there. But that one's a lot better. This yellow is kind of a miss for me, this orange shade. Let's try one more. Let's do one of these metallics. That's really pretty. Wow. I mean, I feel like it's hard to fuck up a metallic, right? This is really pretty. Yeah, these are lovely colors, but just not my typical shades that I would reach for on my skin. But we will keep her, try and test her out. I mean, I do like these metallic shades, so I would at least get some wear out of those. Also, this matte transition shade is really beautiful and very buttery. So that's a great one. I really need to be depotting these, don't I? So the next one I have is a Tarte palette. This one is a smaller one. So this is the Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 eyeshadow palette. I really like the packaging of these. It feels really nice and beautiful. So this one is all shimmers. It's not super pigmented, which again, it's fine if that's kind of the look that you're going for. Let's try this gold one here. I mean, these would almost be better highlighter shades, I think. Not super pigmented, but these I think would be very beautiful if you just want a very subtle wash of shimmer. I think this is great for more natural looks. So I think this one needs to be on my top shelf and really be testing these out on my eye. I feel like I haven't given it a proper chance. So I'm going to keep this one out at the top of my dresser. Okay, so the next one I have is another Beauty Creations palette. This one is called Tease Me. I think this is meant to be a dupe of another palette, but I can't remember which one. So very pretty here. As you can see, you've got some neutral and warm tones. You've got a few shimmers in here. And this has obviously been used quite a bit. A lot of these neutral tones very much suit my skin. I love this Lust one. Oh, it's just so buttery. These are so buttery and they feel so nice on the skin. I love that one. Let's try another one of these matte shades. I love the matte shades in this one. I haven't used this in ages and it's a real shame. I'll use this one. I'll swatch this one called Orgasm. Yeah, I mean, for the shade, that's pretty good. I mean, not looking for anything crazy with these shades. They're very soft. They blend very easily. I used to get a lot of wear out of this one, and then I kind of just forgot about it, and I don't know why. All right, let's try one more of this. Let's try this shade up here. This is called Fire. Whoa. So slightly metallic. Oh, it's like almost fiery on the skin. Doesn't look like that in the pot. It's a bit lighter and brighter on the skin. Swatches really well. Really like this one. I think I need to revisit it. It's obviously been very well loved for a reason. These are, in my experience, they have been great shades to work with, very buttery. And I think the brand, if I remember correctly, they're very cheap as well. So very happy with this one. Going to keep it for sure. So the next one I have is from Prism Makeup. This one is the Interstellar palette. Already love the packaging, and the colors inside definitely reflect the packaging if I remember correctly. I haven't used this one in a while. I think this is another dupe palette. I can't recall what it's duping, but you've got a lot of metallic shades in here and a lot of these lighter shades as well. A couple shimmers, you've got a few mattes. I think the reason why I don't reach for this one much is because the mattes that are in this palette just are not suited to my skin tone, I think. But let's do some swatching. I want to swatch this one here called Spectral. Wow, that one's really pretty. I want to try this one too. This one is Venus, a very nice peach shade. That one is really pretty. Again, these aren't really colors I could see myself wearing. I might wear this Spectral shade maybe close to the lash line, almost as a liner. I want to try some of these shimmers. I really gravitate towards this transient metallic green, shimmery green. I'm kind of using that term interchangeably, shimmer and metallic. Sorry if that bothers some of you guys. It's definitely more muted on the skin. I kind of like how it looks more in the pan than on the skin. I don't know how much I would reach for this one. I want to swatch one more. Let's swatch this one, Supernova. This is a shimmery plum. It's okay. Not amazing. It's not quite shimmery enough to use. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how I would use that one. I mean, if you guys have suggestions, definitely let me know what you think and how would you go about using these ones. Actually, I do want to swatch. See, these are, I really want to swatch these. I want to swatch this one called Earthly. Very dark steel. Wow. Oh, I love this one. That one is awesome. I love, yeah, see, I think I just really gravitate towards these cooler shades. Yeah, I need to give this one a proper chance, I think. I will be keeping this one. So the next palette I have is this Colored Rain Queen of Hearts palette. I think this is the only item that I owned from this brand. We've got some shimmers, and I'm really liking this plum color here. It's like a warm plum. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this one. I don't know, I'm so in love with these reds, but I just never wear them. Oh, I really like this one. It actually has a bit of a gold duality to it, bit of a gold shimmer. I really like that one. I'm gonna try and swatch another one here, Royal Prerogative. This is a matte shade. Okay, not a lot of payoff on that one, a little bit streaky. I'm curious to see how that one wears. I don't think I've used this much. I do like this white shade here, this shimmery white. I do always love using these just for every day in the tear duct. I like that one. It's got a bit of a warm, bit of a blush shimmer to it. I think those are really pretty. But yeah, I just don't really use it. All right, I want to try one more of the matte shades. I want to try this other plum shade here. It feels very dry and a bit sandy, actually. Oh my goodness. Yeah, not loving that. It just feels like sand. I don't know how to describe this, you guys. It literally feels like I'm rubbing sand on my hand. You can even see how rough this one looks in there. It's, I don't really know what's going on with that one. Maybe it's just a bit of a lemon. I'm not sure. Which is a shame because these nude shades are really great. That one's pretty good. I really like that one. Seems like that one shade is a bit of a problem, but that's okay. Overall, I still like this one. So I will keep that. I'll test it out a little bit more and see what I think. Okay, moving on to a NYX palette. This one is Sugar Trip Squad. I think this was an impulse buy, actually. I think I was at TJ Maxx or Ross or something, and I just saw it and I just grabbed it. So I will just say the payoff in these ones are not great. I think that's why I don't really reach for this one anymore. But I think pastel shades are just so hard to get right, like these colored pastels. Let me just swatch some of these. They don't have names, so, or if they do, they're on the back somewhere. Oh, yeah, see, look at this. Just very patchy. Not great color payoff. Yeah, very patchy. I'll try one of the shimmers for you guys. Let's do this pink shimmer. Yeah, just not great payoff. Very, very weak. Not a lot of pigment. The mattes are patchy and don't blend very well. I think I tried to use this one and just couldn't. I couldn't get into it, and they didn't last long either. Here's one here. This is a bit of a slightly warm brown. Oh, that's not slightly warm. That's a very neutral brown there. Yeah, this one's not as bad, but yeah, as you can see, it's quite patchy with the blending. So I think this might be a giveaway palette. I think it's maybe a really good one for maybe young people or kids who are just getting into makeup and you want something that's a bit inconsequential. I have some friends with kids and they might really like this, so I might pass this off to one of them. I think they'd really like it. And I've done that before with palettes that I don't really use, with colors that I don't really use. I've given them away to kids and they seem to really like them, so this will probably be a giveaway. Now we've got another Colourpop palette. This one is It's My Pleasure. This is a purple palette and I really like this one. I did have a bit of an accident with one of the shades, Mr. Sandman. I think it was just, unfortunately, the formula was very dry and it broke easily, and so that one is just lost in the void, sadly. But I do really like these colors. It's got an interesting shade here. This one is called Pretty Cruel. I'll swatch it for you guys. This is like it's a matte shade, something that you would use in maybe your crease as a transition shade, but it's got glitters in it, which I find very interesting. You don't see that often. It's hard to see on camera, but yeah, this matte shade has little bits of glitter, which, I mean, it's hard to find a suitable use for a shade like that. It's just so interesting for the color choice, which is probably why I haven't really reached for that one often. But I do like these other shades. From what I can recall, some of these stain very easily. Here's a shimmer purple. That one's really pretty. I do really like that one. Again, not sure when I would wear it. Let's swatch another one of these matte shades. A little bit patchy, but it could be worse. Definitely better than that NYX one that I just had a look at. I think the main problem with this one is, again, the color scheme is just not something I would usually gravitate towards. Oh, my hand is so beat up, you guys. I've had to take multiple breaks to save my poor skin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I do like this one here. I'll swatch one more for you guys. This one's called Earth Shine. This is a very shimmery. Oh my goodness, look at that. This one is so gorgeous. I love that so much. It's got like a purple reflex. Beautiful. I don't know how I feel about this one, you guys. This might be another giveaway. It's just colors that I don't really wear. There's another one of the matte shades. See, that's not too bad for you know, these lighter purples and pinks. The payoff is actually quite good. I find it's hard to get that formula right. So I don't know, maybe I'll hold on to this one if for no other reason to try and utilize these shimmer shades, because I think they're really pretty. So this next one, to be very clear, this was a gift given to me in 2019, I believe. I would never buy this palette, just to be very clear. This is the Morphe X James Charles palette. Now, this one is another one I just haven't really gravitated towards a whole lot, except for a few shades here. So this nude shade, yes, of course, this one got used quite a bit. There's some nicks and dings here and there. This shade had a bit of a tumble as well. This purple one I do remember very much liking this one. And just as a reminder, guys, this is about using products that I already have instead of being tempted or buying new products, just using what I have to reduce waste instead of throwing something away. I think you guys understand when I say that, and I think you guys would agree that just throwing things in the trash it's against my personal policy. So I just try and use up what I have. Obviously, I wouldn't never repurchase this or purchase it to begin with. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we'll swatch some of these. So this purple one, I do remember using. Color payoff isn't great. I do remember it being a little bit better, so maybe it's just because we've had some really great purple shimmer shades that next to this just doesn't look that great. Let's see some of these other shades we can swatch. What about this yellow? Let's try this yellow shade. Again, not really a color that I can see myself wearing, but never say never. That's not too bad, actually. That's, for a yellow, it's pretty decent. It is chalky. It's a little chalky, but I think with a good primer that you could make that work. Let's keep with maybe these yellow adjacent shades. Let's do this orange. Could have better payoff, but not the worst. It's a little chalky. Let's try this darker orange. I think these ones I have used in a smoky eye altogether. See, now when you get to the reds, the pigmentation is a lot easier to achieve, so that one is not too bad. But even for a deep burnt orange shade, that is quite light. But if I were to try and swatch some of these nude shades, it's also definitely a stainer. You can see just after having that on my hand for less than a minute and my fingers, it has stained, which is not surprising. So let's try some of these neutral tones. Maybe some of these large pots in the middle. Let's go with this one, this terracotta. Let's go on my wrist here. Something that hasn't been as beat up. That's much better. That is much, much better. Again, these are all very warm in the middle. So not my typical shade that I would gravitate towards on a daily basis. This brown is not too bad. This brown's a bit more neutral. That one's not too bad. We've also got a black, obviously. Let's swatch the black. I don't swatch many of those. that does look quite dark on the finger. That's pretty good. I do like the black. Yeah, a bit of a hit or miss with this one with the shades. But again, I think a palette like this is great for young people, maybe kids who are wanting to experiment with makeup and don't really mind the, you know, patchiness of some of the shades. I don't know. I will have a go with this one further before I decide whether or not to give it away. Okay guys, I think we are about halfway through. I will just get these ones out of the way as well. These were another gift to me. These are the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill. I think this is the Vault collection. So there were 4 eyeshadow palettes in this collection. So I will just go through each one of these. There is one in here that I have used on a regular basis and some that are not so great and probably haven't really been touched much. So let's just start with the first one here. This one is, so they have names. This one is Ring the Alarm. So let's have a look. Barely touched this one, as you can see. I'm gonna swatch this Bomb Ass. Love that name. Wow, that is very soft. These are very, at least this formula here, this one is very soft and bright. Do like that one. Oh, that black from the James Charles palette has just stained my finger. Yikes. I will have to keep that in mind when using this. I will also swatch, I'm going to swatch this Lolly. This is a rosy shimmer shade. It looks like it's got a bit of a gold reflect to it. That one's not too shabby either. Let's swatch one of these matte shades. Let's try this one, Mugshot. It's a bit of an orangey brown. Okay, that one is a bit chalky, but it's not too bad. Let's try one of the other matte shades. One that I'm more likely to use is probably this one, Secret here. It's the darker brown. Let's try that one. That is a bit better, although it's a bit patchy. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I mean, colors aside, again, not a color scheme or story that really fits into what I would wear on an everyday basis, but I do like some of the shimmer shades. So the next one is Armed and Gorgeous. I think this might be the green color story. No. So let's swatch some of these. I'm already seeing some that I really like this coin. Really like this coin shade. Oh, I said I was going to swatch with my other finger and then just totally didn't. Okay, let's use my arm here. Wow, I love that one. I can definitely see myself using this one. Let's try another shimmer. Let's try this Guilt Trip. Okay, she's kind of cute. This one's a little bit different. This is more of a foiled shade. This is called Classified. A bit drier. Not too bad. Now, curious about this green shade. I think I remember this green shade giving me some trouble. That's actually not too bad. Yeah, I'll try and use this one. And it's got that shimmery white shade, which I always love to have those and plenty of them because it seems to be my most commonly used shade across all of my palettes. It's just, you know, a very easy go-to for the inner corner. Okay, the next one I have is Dark Magic. Okay, this has got some more greens in it. Oh, she's also seen some better days for sure. Oh goodness. I'm drawn to this shade here called Inside Job. This is a darker emerald. I wouldn't even call it emerald, it's quite dark. Ooh. This is definitely patchy. I can already see that would not blend out nicely Yuck. Okay, let's try some of these other greens. I'm gonna try this Potion. Again, another patchy one, which is a bit confusing. It's quite soft, but when I apply it to the skin, it's just very much grabbing and patchy, and yikes, that one is a bit icky. Okay, let's try, I'm drawn again to this shimmery green shade. This one looks more promising. Okay. Okay, maybe not a color I would use. In the pot it looks a lot richer, but on the skin it just is coming across quite gray and dark, which is interesting. Could be good for a very dark smoky eye. Wash that across the lid. Yeah, not sure how I feel about this one, which is a shame because I actually do, I do really like the shades in here. I think this shade here, this shade, this looks like one that I at one point did use often, or at least a few times, and that tracks because it's would be a really nice transition or crease shade that I would gravitate towards. So I don't know, this is a maybe for me. I'll have to do some further testing on this one to see if I want to keep it. Okay, so the last one from the vault is this one. This is Bling Boss. So this one I think got a little bit more use. I definitely have used this Hush Hush shade. I think I did try and use this gem. So I know what I want to swatch immediately is this gem. Now I'm really packing this in to the finger just to get that top layer off. Oh, I do like this one. I feel like I've already swatched better shimmery purples, but this one isn't too bad. It feels quite soft, but it's also kind of sticky at the same time. It's very odd. Let's try Berry Treasure. This is a very enticing shade. This is gonna be like a dark brown with some flecks of gold and bronze. Oh, this is a very interesting shade. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, I quite like this one. Yeah, I do really like this one. This is one of those that's got, it's like a mostly matte shade with just some flecks of glitter. I just haven't figured out how I would really wear these kinds of formulas. There was one similar to that in one of the Colourpop palettes, if you remember. It was like that matte nude shade with flecks of gold glitter. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. I really want to utilize this type of formula, but I just don't really know how to apply it. I'm actually going to swatch a few more from here. I want to swatch this burnt red. This is called Sparks. This is a matte shade. It's okay. It's a little, again, a bit patchy. Not amazing payoff, but you could build it potentially. Again, like I said before, just because it's not as pigmented doesn't necessarily mean it's not as good. It could just, you know, maybe you don't want a super intense color, but I find with colors like this, if it's not pigmented, then what's kind of the point, you know? Unless it's a very natural shade with, but I don't find this to be super natural, but I could be wrong. I think everyone has their idea of what natural is. Here is this transition shade that I mentioned. It's hard to see on my skin. It is very close to my skin tone, but that is just that's just a typical, I think, everyday transition shade I might use. So I'll keep this one around. I'm really intrigued by, again, this matte with the glitter. I really want to try and get some use out of that one. I have another Beauty Creations palette. This one's called Baked Pops. I guess it's just a highlighter palette. I think I did use this one quite a bit and really dug into this shade in particular to get that lighter shade. It's a bit of a marbled baked, I mean, it's called Baked Pops. So this is like a baked formula. I will swatch these. Swatch this one here. That's very pretty. This is very natural, actually. Let's try this. See, I'm looking at this one here and thinking, how in the world would I wear that? It's just so white looking. You know what? I think I am totally wrong. These actually come across quite natural on the skin. Very, very subtle. I very much like this. I don't know why I stopped using it, actually. Let's try this one here. Oh, very gold. Oh, wow. That one might be a bit too dark to use as a highlighter, at least on my current complexion. Maybe when I'm very tan, when as we get closer to summer here in Australia. So these are really pretty. I don't know why I stopped using this, to be honest. This is definitely going on my top shelf. Next up, we have this Colourpop X Kathleen Lights palette. This is Dream Street. This is another, a lot of these are gifts, as I mentioned. This one was a gift, and I did use this one quite a bit. As you can see, I used this darker brown shade, this transition crease shade, and this warmer terracotta. I used that a bit, along with this shade. I'll just swatch these quickly. So I don't know the names of these. There's your lighter shade. This one is a bit, it's got a slight shimmer to it, so it makes it really great for maybe the brow bone. Yeah, that one's not too bad. Let's swatch this salmon shade. Oh. Okay. It's a bit odd. I'm kind of swatching it into my palm. See, again, not a shade I am sure I would wear. All right, let's try some of these shimmers actually. So I'm going to try this bottom one here. It's silver, but it's a bit warm. Oh, it's got like a light green reflect to it. Oh, wow. Oh, I really like that. That is so stunning. And let's try this. This is like a dark turquoise. Very pretty. Let's try this one. Again, not a shade I would typically go for. Oh, ooh. That's a bit patchy. Yikes. Okay, maybe not one I would wear. Oh, a bit patchy. Okay, not loving that one. Let's try the shimmer version of her. So there's a shimmer teal, dark teal here. I mean, these are really kind of hard to mess up, yeah? Oh, that's so pretty. This is giving like dark mermaid. I really like that one. It's got like a dark black base with a teal reflect. That is gorgeous. Love that one. I will keep this. I'm trying to utilize the shimmer shades in this one because I really like them. Yeah, some of the neutral shades are really great. So this is a keeper for me. From the queen herself, we got a Huda Beauty palette. This is the Desert Dusk. And I'm pretty sure one of the dupe palettes that I showed you guys earlier was actually a dupe of this one. Yes, unfortunately the mirror is very shattered, so very sad. Rest in pieces. I love this. This is so cool. I love how she's done this. Just these little touches make just the simple things like eyeshadow palettes seem so special and luxury. Alrighty, so a lot of shades in here that I love. Already gravitating towards this shade here. This is Retrograde. That one is a bit well, it's a bit crumbly. Okay, not loving that. Shade is beautiful, but that is really just pilling and doing something weird on my skin. So that's a shame because the shade is gorgeous. All right, let's try this one. Let's try Angelic. This is very pretty looking. It's a pink with a gold reflect. Oh, that one is so pretty. Oh, I really like this one. I can definitely see myself wearing this on the lid. Very pretty. Okay, let's try another one of these duochrome shades. I'm gonna try this one. This is Twilight. It's got a bit of a dent in it. Yeah, see, that one is not really, maybe it's weirdly packed down. There we go. That's a little bit better, but it's really kind of hard to get payoff from some of these. Just these duochrome shades are a bit troublesome. I'm sure I could make them work with some effort. Now I want to swatch some of these matte shades. So I'm going to go with Amber here. It's already feeling very dry. It looks pretty. Wow. Gorgeous. No issues there with that one. Let's try Amethyst. Oh. Okay, she's also a bit dry. Oh. This might be another weirdly packed shade. I'm just gonna try and break up that top layer a bit. See if we can get some better. Oh, very disappointed in this shade. It's patchy. Very sad, but again, those purple shades are really difficult to get right. So when I come across a purple shade that is very smooth and buttery, it's very rare. So let's try one more. I'm gonna go with, actually, let's do one of these nude shades. Let's do Musk. This would be a very easy go-to everyday transition shade for me. That one's no problems. No issues with that one. Let's do Desert Sand. This one is just a very light beige. Not amazing payoff with that one, sadly. Okay, I'm a little conflicted with this palette, actually. I don't know if I'll keep it. This might be a giveaway, sadly. I might play around with this one a bit more. And you've got this glitter shade that is just calling to me, but I'm sure that one will be fine if I make it work. I don't know, maybe some further testing is needed to decide if I am going to keep this one. So the next one I have, I think this might be the only Becca Cosmetics product that I have. This was a gift to me, a light palette. So I think this one is a face palette. Yes, so we've got some highlighters here, and you've got a darker one down here as well. And I'm just telling you, on first glance, I'm not super intrigued by it. These look very, very powdery. They are very soft, granted. So my thinking is that they are not so much highlighters as they are shimmery setting powder. So if I read the back here, so it is a face palette. So you've got a brightening powder, a blush, a contour, a blur powder. So I guess they are blur powders. I don't know. I just don't know how I would incorporate these into my face routine. Let's try this blush shade. The blush shade looks very pretty, but that is very, very shimmery for a blush, and I don't really go for shimmery blushes, but that is very pretty. I actually really like that. I might have to play around with this to see how I would use it. If you guys have any recommendations as to how I could really utilize this kind of palette, please let me know. So I'll keep it for now, have another play, and see if I can make this work. So the next one is a lot older than I'm happy to admit. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And you can already tell by looking at it just how old and used this palette is. And I haven't touched it in quite a while. Very much loved this palette. She's been very used. I've actually hit pan on one of the shades here, which for me is very rare for an eyeshadow palette. So I'm just gonna swatch some of these. It's a bit dirty. She's definitely seen better days. So let's swatch some of these. So we've got burnt orange. Look at that. Still blends like a dream. Warm taupe. That's definitely a shade I could see myself using quite a bit. I'm really trying to get past this top layer of shadow. Oh, well, that's not doing much, is it? And just a disclaimer, if you have palettes this old, I'm not going to recommend that you use them. And if you do, just try and sanitize as best you can. I've actually got Isocol here, and I'm cleaning my hands with every swatch, trying to be as sanitary as I can. Let's try another one here. Let's try Raw Sienna. This is another one that I could see myself using frequently. Oh, these are just so soft, you guys. Look at that. They really did something with this palette. I mean, here's another one. This is Golden Ochre. Another one that blends out really well. Okay, let's swatch one more because I already know I like this one and I will keep it. I think I just need to make an effort to actually go back and try and use up as much of these shades as I can. So let's do one more. Let's do Love Letter. And yes, she's very dirty. Oh, well, yeah, she's seen better days for sure. So that formula might just be a bit too old to work. But as you can see, I didn't use it much either. So maybe this wasn't a great one to begin with, but I'm just going to chalk it up to it being old. In fact, you could say that for a lot of these. I'm not going to necessarily fault the manufacturer or the brand because some of these are quite old. So I'll do one more. I'll do this Venetian Red. Yeah, these are just not swatching great and are just a bit sad looking. Let's try Antique Bronze. That looks like it's actually never been touched. That's very sad. This one's a bit better. It's a bit powdery for sure. I also may have just used a bit too much pressure when swatching that one. Okay, that's a good one. Definitely going to hold on to this and continue using it. We are in the home stretch, people. We've got about 10 palettes left. And a few of them are actually small quads. This is another old one. This is Kat Von D's Shade and Light Eye Palette, not to be confused with her once famous Shade and Light Face Palette. So this one did not get any use. As you can see, this is barely touched. Except for this white. I definitely dipped into this white a few times, but this is basically new, you guys. So let's swatch some of these. So I'm going to swatch this champagne one here. This is a shimmer. Oh, it's got a little bit of a glitter in it. Oh, it's actually very pretty. Let's try, I'm going to swatch this Steel shade here. Ooh, I very much like that. That's a great one. Now, there aren't really any matte shades in here. The only true matte shades is this flesh tone, well, flesh for me, flesh tone here, and this black is also another matte black with some sparkle. So let's actually swatch this light shade here. And even this appears to maybe have a little bit of shimmer, just slightly. So I wouldn't say that's a true matte. And I do want to swatch the black. I want to see. I find it so interesting when brands do these mattes with flecks of glitter. I want to get in on the vibe. I just feel like I don't know how to use them properly. So I can definitely see how that would be very pretty when packed on the lid properly. I mean, on my finger, it looks even more beautiful than on my hand. Yeah, I might have to do some trials with her. Let me just swatch one more. Oh, that was a bit of a vicious swatch. It's a bit chalky and powdery, that one, but very pretty. But, oh, that one's, yeah, very powdery. Okay. She can stay. She can live to see another day. We'll let her stay. Okay, I'm going to do some small eye palettes that I have. So this is a Lime Crime. This is the Venix Extra Small Silver. So you've got a quad here. You've got 2 matte shades and 2 shimmer shades. So I very much like this silver shimmer shade here. Not super great payoff, but potentially buildable. Okay, subtle. Let's try these matte shades here. This is definitely one I could see myself going to often. Okay. I actually like that one. It's a little bit powdery, but she does the job. And here's the gray. That gray is, I mean, what is that? That is so patchy and dusty. Let's try the shimmers. Well, I guess I already tried the silver. Let's try this other steel-esque shimmer. Okay, she's kind of cute, but not really there much. Don't know. Might actually give this one away. I'm not loving it. This is KKW X Mario palette. Now, it's basically a nude palette with a blue. So you've got a few shimmer shades and a few mattes, but unfortunately a lot of them are warm, so it's just not something that I have really gravitated towards. I'm actually going to swatch this light shade here. Okay. I like that one. That's a good one. I'm going to swatch this shade here. Ooh. Oh, very impressed with that one. Oh my goodness. That is so smooth and buttery. Oh, I love that. I love how that looks. Okay, let's try this plum shade here. Ooh. Where'd it go? Hello? Okay, that one is not nearly as good. That is pretty patchy and not buttery and creamy like that other one. And of course I won't do you guys dirty. I will swatch the blue shade. How could I not? That looks virtually untouched. So here we go. Yeah, not Not super impressed with this one. That's a real shame. Here, let's swatch this lighter one. That lighter one's not too bad. Can definitely use that as an inner corner. That blue is very sad and disappointing though. But I will try and use her and utilize it as best I can. There are definitely some shades in here I would use. I would use this lighter shade and probably this one too. But other than that, I don't really know. This might be a giveaway. I'm not sure. Might need some further testing on this one. Okay, so the next one I have is one I definitely will not be getting rid of. This is a favorite, absolute favorite right now. And that is the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette. I loved receiving this one as a gift. Oh, first of all, I absolutely love these shade names. You can tell that this girl really loves her games. There's a lot of references to World of Warcraft. There's a lot of references here. There's a reference here to Star Wars, 7 of 9. You've got a reference to Star Trek there. So I just love her. She's amazing. I'm already loving this palette, but I love these shades. I've actually recently been using this a lot more. So my go-tos have been this shade called Naru, and absolutely love this one. I love the shade name, reference to World of Warcraft, so love her for that. And this has been a just go-to transition shade. I absolutely love it. It blends beautifully. It's very soft. And I've also been using this shade called Nova. This is a very beautiful one. It's a shimmer duochrome, so it's white with like a purple and blue shift. It's absolutely magical. I just love this one. Some other ones that I really like, Firefly here. You can tell that I've used that too. This one is just, oh, I'm just dying over these shades. They're so beautiful. And let's swatch some of the mattes. So you've got Samus. Oh, I love this. I love the names in all of these. These are so great. Samus. I don't normally wear a shade like this, but it's not bad. You know what? For a pastel shade, not bad. That NYX palette that I showed you guys a bit earlier, it's got some pastel shades and they just performed so poorly. And I really don't have a lot of pastel shades that perform well. This one is not too bad. I'll also swatch this Nebula. Similar shade in a shimmer. Oh, I love that. And I'll do one more. I actually don't want to waste this product. This one's called Gravity. So this is a lime green. Okay, that one might need a bit of packing to really get the true color. But I love that. I love these shades. I love the shade names. They're beautiful. I mean, I've been using a lot of these recently and they've been working really well. So definite keep and favorite. This is actually in my pull-out drawer. This is my go-to palette right now. So obviously keeping this. Okay, next we've got a small Too Faced palette. This is the Sugar Cookie palette. I think this is another scented one. Yes, this is scented like sugar cookies. It smells pretty good, even with how old it is. I think it's about 3 years old or so. It actually still smells pretty good. So I'm gonna swatch this shade here. Because if this performs well, I could definitely see myself using this as a go-to everyday palette. That's not too bad. It's hard to see on camera, but that's very flesh toned. I'll also try this brown shade here, another matte. Okay, little wonk, but it's fine. And let's try this pink shade. This one's very curious. Very smooth and soft. Payoff is not amazing, but that's okay. we'll try and make those work. I think sometimes you just can't get the full effect of a shade by swatching on your fingers and, you know, onto your hand or arm. Sometimes with a primer on the eye is just the best way. I will keep this one. I'll do some further testing on it. Yeah, I'll keep this one for now. Very excited to be nearing the end of this one. So next one we have is Urban Decay Moon Dust. Now this one I'm pretty sure I bought on sale or something like that from Mecca, and I definitely know why it was on sale, and it's because these shades were just impossible to make work on my eyes. So I will swatch some of them for you now. I'm going to swatch this Lithium here. So these are shimmer and glitter shades. So beautifully swatched, right? Absolutely gorgeous. Very pretty. Let's try this one. This is Light Year. Again, absolutely beautiful. Let's try Galaxy. Gorgeous. So I think my issue with these previously was their longevity. The fallout was really, really bad. And because they are shimmer and glitter, the glitter would just tend to get everywhere. And that actually doesn't happen with all of my shades that have glitter in them. But with these ones, for some reason, the glitter just tends to get everywhere. I mean, you can see from this palette how dirty it's gotten. And I hardly use it. So I don't know, I want to make this work, and obviously as you guys saw, a lot of the shades swatch really beautifully, and they're very beautiful shades, but I might give it another chance and do some more testing, but if it's not going to work, this might be a giveaway. The next one I have is the Lorac Pro 2 palette. This is the second palette I ever owned, so this one is very old, you guys, and you can see that she has been used. I mean, some of these shades are just gone. This one I've hit pan, well into pan, and I think that's, and even this charcoal shade here I hit pan on. So as you can see, I think that's why I just stopped using this, is because I used my favorite shades and then I was kind of done with it. But I do want to, now that I'm starting to use shimmers more often, there's some shimmer shades in here that I quite like. So let's try swatching. I'm going to try swatching this one. This is Rose. These are very soft, by the way. I feel like Lorac is such an underrated brand. Love these. This one is Mocha. These are so soft and buttery. A dream to blend. That one is less streamy. That one, the payoff is not great. But again, this is an old palette, you guys. So the fact that these even look this good, I'm very shocked. I will try one more. Let's try one of these matte shades. I'm gonna try Plum. This is like a dusty purple. Okay, she's patchy for sure. Not great, not loving it, but I think the shimmer shades are going to be my go-to to use in this palette, just so I can use all of those up. Yeah, I don't want those to go to waste. I would definitely use those. Next up, I have the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson collaboration. This is the Conspiracy palette. Listen, I know, you don't have to say anything. I think a lot of us regret buying this, but, you know, what can you do? I bought into the hype, okay? I'm not going to front like I am above that. This one I actually did use some of these shades. Obviously really liked a lot of these lighter shades up at top. Even this one here, Sleep Paralysis, really like that one, and Diet Cola. There are some really nice shimmer shades in here, so I will just swatch them quickly. So I'll swatch this one here, this Illuminati. I mean, wow. These are very buttery and soft. Beautiful. And I'll swatch this one. This is Diet Cola. My goodness. Yeah, see, there's just no beating these. These are amazing. And then I know this yellow shade is so troublesome. Ugh. It's so hard to make a shade like this look good. I mean, unless you use like, you know, a white base underneath, then you could probably get this to work. It's not an everyday shade, that's for sure. But let's swatch another matte shade. What about this one? Let's do What's the Tea? Obviously, I've used that one before. I don't remember how though. That one is surprisingly good for a pastel shade like that. Not bad. And this shade here, Trisha, I mean, it's just calling to me. Ooh, okay. Maybe dug into the pan a little bit too hard. I mean, beautiful. These are beautiful shades, you guys. There's no denying that. As much as I regret buying it, at least I can use it now that I have it. I mean, a lot of the shades I just don't see myself ever using, but the shimmers are really beautiful in this palette, so I would definitely use those. I mean, this one alone, this white shimmer here, and these, you know, nude transition shades, or just, you know, everyday shades, definitely a go-to, as well as this Just a Theory, another nice shimmery champagne everyday kind of shade for me. I definitely will use it. It's just, I kind of forgot that I had it, to be honest. Try and use this one up. I also got the Mini Controversy palette, and this one saw less daylight, I think. So another good one here. You've got a fleshy brow bone lid shade for me. That one's not too bad. And then another shimmery shade. I don't know if I love that one. It's not quite as shimmery as the other formulas, but it's not too bad. That one's a bit more subtle. And then I will try this blue shade just because I want to see how it stands up next to that KKW one. Yeah, huge difference between this shimmer blue and the KKW one. I mean, how is there such a huge difference? That KKW one was just a shame, honestly. Like, I should be embarrassed. But yeah, this is another one. There's quite a few shades in here that I could see myself wearing and actually using up, so I will be keeping this one. This is my last palette in my, well, at least what I could find. There might be more hiding somewhere, and I might do a part 2 of this because I've also got quite a few singles. But for now, this is the last one, and this is the Lorac Pro palette. This was my very first palette. I can't remember who suggested this. I must have watched someone on YouTube suggest this palette. Maybe it was Wayne Goss or something. But anyway, as you can see, she has been used, abused, thrown to the wayside. So many of these shades I've hit pan, and sadly all that's left are the shimmer shades. I mean, you can tell when I used this palette. This was definitely I used this 10 years ago palette, when everyone had completely matte eye looks with nearly no shimmer whatsoever. But now I'm a changed woman. I want to use these shimmers, so I want to revisit this one. So we've got some really pretty deeper colors. So we've got Slate here. This is a very dark steel. And I just love Lorac. This is so old, you guys, and these are still holding up quite well. And they are so, so soft. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Light bronze. Beautiful. Let's do pewter. Okay, she's a little bit more chalky, but still there's payoff there. And let's try this champagne. This is probably one I would use regularly because of how light it is. Yeah, I mean, these are still really good shades. So I'm very I'm always impressed with Lorac. I mean, I don't know how their quality is now, but when I bought this palette and the Lorac Pro 2 palette, I mean, these were the shit. These were like, if you wanted really high quality, these were amazing at the time. I'm actually curious to swatch one of these matte shades, even though I've used most of them now. Let's try swatching. Ooh. Well, those didn't hold up as well. Not the best, but the shimmers are so gorgeous. They're so buttery. So I will definitely be keeping this one. Definitely need to sanitize a lot of these. Yeah, that's definitely a keeper for me. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. There were definitely some surprises and some kind of old loves that I've rediscovered today. And I'm really excited to dive in and really test some of these ones that I haven't really used much before. And I'm really glad I did this. I found some kind of hidden gems in sitting here in my own room. So I might do a part 2 to this. I have quite a few singles and like single highlighters and bronzers and stuff. That would be a much shorter video, I admit. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, then just let me know. But I hope you enjoyed this and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye bye.